Jason.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Sleeping.
Sleeping. Hey, welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Beyond the Curve MX Pod Goes Off-Road. We're going to talk about the Round 3 of the FTR held at Clear Springs, hosted by SADRA. Chaos before Christmas was the longest track we've had in FTR for a while. It was dusty. Hell, we had fires. We had first-time racers. And we had a pro get his first win of the season. So there's also some schedules that have come up, and I want to talk to you about proud dad moments. So how was your race?
My race was good.
Did you do any exciting things at your start this weekend?
I didn't know.
It must be a family thing.
Yeah, I just missed the Kickstarter as usual. Then just took off, which it really doesn't matter unless you had the whole shot and you were first. It really didn't matter where the hell you were because of the dust.
Yeah, if actually we were watching, if you were in the first 5 nose to tail, you were okay.
Yeah.
But after that, dude, if you were in the back, you might as well just like wait till they say 30 seconds and then go, because it was it was lights out.
Yeah, it was very bad.
Yeah. Long track this weekend.
Yeah, it was somewhere between 13 and a half and 15 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Don't really know. There was
multiple mileages.
Well, yeah, depending on who you ask
and their GPS tracker.
Yeah, and which route you took on the track.
And it is true. I think for some it's how the GPS picks up. Like, because when I go run, I'll run 2 different GPS models. Mm-hmm. And I get different mileages, and I run the same thing. Yeah. So I think it's just where it starts picking you up and where there are beams. And if you lose a beam,
well, if you go here and you stay going here all the way around the track, it's equals this.
Yeah.
But once you start cutting here and you do this and you do that,
yeah,
it does actually start. It shaves off.
Yeah.
More than you think, because I think the Saturday mileage on our tractor we bought was pretty much dead on. Sunday was just, I think for me it came out just a hair under 14.
I think we're about to have a distraction.
Probably. Just lock the door.
We were talking about mileage.
Yes.
And you talked about the Saturday mileage versus the Sunday mileage, and that's where we kind of were.
Okay.
So start us off.
I don't know. Start us back over.
Okay, so we were talking about it was somewhere between 13 and a half to 15 miles.
Yeah. For Sunday. Yeah.
And depending on as the cheat lines come, which aren't the cheat lines, but as the lines get broken in, all of a sudden you're taking off meters and meters at a time.
Yeah.
So you talked about, you actually had told, I think you said something to Randy about this is one of the better long tracks. What made this track fun?
Other than, to me, the worst part was the very end, which was the only part that you were allowed to see. And then when we would go into the woods after the chicane, like the first, not even quarter mile, to me were the only parts that really sucked.
Okay.
The rest of it had good flow. It made sense. It wasn't beat to shit. Even the sandy spots stayed together somehow, with it being as dry as it was.
Did we get any big sand whoops?
If you ask certain people, because I saw couples, it's like, what whoops were you talking about? Yeah. I say no. Like, don't. It wasn't like it was just look. Oh my God! Look, it was. You might have a few patches to where realistically, if you just hit it, like you're over them like that, and you don't even notice them.
Any of the tight stuff that they use in the ridges there, or was this pretty open?
We went into a few of the pine thickets, but it was you went in them, you did whatever, and then you were out of it. It wasn't, which we haven't really been in them where they just continued us in them nonstop for a long period of time. We haven't really done that in quite a while. It just made sense. It flowed right. It worked. It just worked right. And even if the track would have been wet, other than a couple spots, you still could have used pretty much that entire track. Like
Okay.
it just worked right. It made sense.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything that was just odd or like it just worked.
Did they use the black dirt section?
No,
No.
that I can visually see that side, but I can't tell you specifically where it is. But that side there, we did not go near
Okay.
where that is. I can picture the whole section, but I can't tell you where specifically it is. But I know we didn't go near it.
And if you want to see what the track was like, there are, I don't know, at least 6 or 7 GoPros out right now, guys,
Yeah,
at different levels.
yeah,
So you can watch a C Master guy, you can watch a AA guy,
yeah.
and anything in between. So there was some excitement. It was Saturday. Your son, Gunner, after a long hiatus of racing,
2 years.
and not only did he take a break from racing, he went from the Pee Wee racing to, hey, I'm going to run the big track now.
Yeah, well, no option, but yeah. Because the Pee Wee track is what? One lap is, I think at most is on some of them is
maybe a mile,
if that.
Yeah.
And like you're surrounded by people, like there's people everywhere. Then you go to a big track, and like this weekend was 7.5 per mile.
Yeah.
And other than the sweepers that are behind you, you were on your own.
Yeah.
So yeah, he 2 years off from racing, but still riding. Soccer season was over, and months ago we like okay, well, you're good enough. You know what you're doing. You're more than capable. Let's just go try.
Yeah.
And just see what happens. And he agreed to it and went did it, and he was tickled shitless.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he was very happy with himself. So
that's cool. I mean, by the way, he finished 4th out of 19 riders in his class.
Yep.
Just the fact that he finished, and because there were moments I've watched out here at practice, there were moments that he couldn't get his own bike cranked.
Yeah.
And now he finished 4th.
Yeah.
And raced the whole race.
Yeah, and he crashed I think 3 times because we got the tracker on him so we can see if he stops and all that. So he crashed 3 times. That last start because he looped it out on the start, so he gave him a head start, and then at the end of the first lap he was 6th. So by the end of the first lap he'd ran down 3/4 of them.
Yeah.
And passed them, and then he actually made it up to 3rd and crashed, and 4th got by him, so which put him back to 3rd, and that was on the last lap. So that's not too shabby on your first time out.
Now, did he go out for practice?
Yes,
Okay.
I went road practice. Well, we went out for practice. He took off, and then I had to wait a minute, so I didn't even catch back up to him until about a mile in. I caught back up with him, rode about a mile with him, and then because I kept stopping to helping other little kids and stuff, and he just kept going. So after that, I got close again to where I could see his helmet for a couple miles and then stop. So really, I only rode like a mile of practice with him, and he was completely fine. So the next, we've already talked about it, but the next race, I probably want to go out with him. Like he was fine. Like he would be bopping along, and it was funny. He came in and he's like, "These people are so freaking slow. They just putt along. You can't see nothing. They're in my way." I'm like, "You're fine." But it was the same thing during the race, talking about the other slower kids. Instead of like, "Okay, you're fine. You're good."
So I have to ask because mom and dad were there, and one of the grandma and grandpas were there.
Well, my parents were there. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was the emotion for dad and mom and grandma and grandpa?
I was fine. I was more because we have measured his mileage out here, and then we measured his mileage out to practice. On paper, like, okay, we should be good, but it's close-ish. So I was like, first 2 laps, I was fine. Third lap, I was more concerned. Please don't run out of freaking gas. Mindy was an absolute mess. My mom had already talked to my dad and basically told my dad to shut the hell up and just mind your business. So after we were done, when we got home, I went to bed at 6:45 and didn't wake up till the next morning. So I was good after that, but hopefully the next race will be a little less stressful. But
because I talked to Papa Crowley, and he told me, he's like, "Ooh, man, we're a little nervous on Saturday."
yeah.
And it's funny because
He hasn't seen him ride a motocross track on 85. That's even more nerve wracking.
Well, I just laughed because Papa Crowley raced, his son raced, so should be used to it. And all of a sudden, it's like, my grandson's going out there.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I mean, but I do understand because my dad absolutely, he's only been to, I think, in 20 years, 3 of my races.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, I can't stand watching.
Yeah.
I'm like, you crashed. I've watched you crash a race car.
Yeah.
Like, nope.
Yeah.
It's different. It's your son. So, and I don't watch Brianna do her eventing. I can watch 2 of the disciplines. One of the disciplines I can't watch.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand. But I was just curious. So we also had, on top of familial excitement, we did have a little bit of firefighting class on Saturday.
Yeah.
We had a kid lost a bike.
Yeah.
We still don't know exactly what happened.
From what I read and gathered, it kind of sounds like something fluke with electrical on a 2-stroke, which is, don't know specifically what, but something electrical happened, which started a fire. And why, I don't know why the kid didn't put it out through dirt. That I don't know. I don't know if it was just all of a sudden poof type thing.
And if he's still trying to get his bearings, we don't know how he crashed.
I don't know all the specifics of all that. But it caught on fire. The fuel line, tank, whatever, ruptured, and that was all she wrote type deal. Which started then, I think it was like 5 or 10 acres burn up.
Which, by the way, that is going to be some absolutely beautiful grass when it comes back.
Yes and no. It'll be green for a little bit. It'll blend right. You won't ever tell the freaking difference. The only reason, a lot of people said stuff about it. The only reason it was a big deal, and people, they just don't know. They're uneducated. They have no clue what the hell they're actually talking about. The only reason the bike catching on fire turned into anything is because it was in freaking Kogan grass.
Yeah.
They don't understand. They don't even realize what Kogan grass is. It's just like,
it hurts.
Well, it's just like palmettos. It's like freaking gasoline.
Yeah.
Once you start it, it's game on. Unless you have water there to put on it from a pressurized source, you're not putting out Kogan grass.
I mean, we could pan the camera around right now. If anybody wants to come practice, we could.
Yeah.
We could knock that out in no time here.
Yeah.
I've got 8 acres of it sitting right here. It is brown. I had someone drive by the other day and they text me and said, "Man, I don't know what you got growing out there, but it is so pretty." I'm like, it's like weeds.
Yeah.
It's just golden brown right now.
Yeah.
Think about being in a wheat field in Florida. Is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. And it was just the perfect storm. Honestly, those are the types of things. They've caught hay bales, massive hay bales on fire at GNCCs.
Yeah.
It happens. It just got a lot of publicity with everybody's cameras and drones.
It was the problem. If this would have been at any other race that we go to, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Even if it started a little brush fire, most other places we went, you could pretty much stop it with fire extinguishers and it'd have been fine.
Yeah.
It was just in Kogan grass, especially tall Kogan grass like where this was. Once it's going, you're not doing anything unless you have a brush truck there. Like, it's plain and simple. Because they dumped, I don't know how many fire extinguishers, and it's like, it's not going to go. You're not stopping this. Like,
I've had the best luck, honestly, when I've caught stuff on fire out here, burning stuff off, taking a rake and raking
Yeah.
is getting rid of the source is the best way, because the source, if it can get to the source, it's gone. Like it's just, imagine setting your cardboard boxes on fire and setting another one beside it. It's just, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I said, people, they don't actually know what they're talking about or how that, like Kogan it mats together and becomes so thick, and places where animals have tunneled through, like the fire will run through those tunnels, not burn through there and pop out over here, like just like it's very strong stuff, but it's like freaking gasoline. You set it on fire, it burns hot, it burns quick, but it's so thick and condensed when it's like that. It's just matted and woven together. It's the damnedest thing. Like you can sit there and walk. It's weird.
And on a positive, FTR did what they needed to do to get it out. Boom. On the negative, why does everybody? So there was the original post, and then there is just unwarranted vitriol. Why does everybody have to have a digital mouthpiece? Like, dude, those are public facing things. Anybody that joins FTR, I'm a member of. I haven't raced the Mideast race in 5 years. I'm still a member of their group. I get every post that comes out. Those types of things, it just isn't good. And we're going to talk more about, because there was other posts that occurred this weekend, but overall, it was a good race weekend. There, the racing was good on the morning race. Your race, the Barry McCarty wins again, but coming into the second lap, McAfee was actually winning the race. And McCarty put it back out and ended up getting the win. But McCarty was giving him catch up, man. That's crazy to think that you're chasing someone down from a minute behind you can't even see, and you're chasing him down. But
he beat him by 2 seconds.
So there was a good race. Then in the afternoon, Jesse Ansley was just doing some GNCC training, doing the extra lap. I mean, and then I wonder, like, do you just stop and wait? Because, like, but do you take the chance of someone else coming through, and then you have to race the last lap after taking a 7-minute break? But like literally, he had to do the last lap. No one else did. And I don't know, but 5 laps on a roughly 15-mile track, you're hauling the mail. On that in a 2-hour time period. You're hauling the mail.
I mean, it was my fastest speed I got up to was 58.
Okay.
So I mean,
and what was your average?
I want to say average was somewhere in the 40s ish.
Wow, that's pretty good.
So I mean, Jesse's way faster than me. So his average was probably upper 50s. Yeah.
So you're hauling the mail on an off-road track. Might as well go to the Baja. But good race, lots of good. There's actually, I felt like the racing was its one thing, but there was a lot of great dialogue from some issues that occurred. The fire ended up being some good dialogue, even though there was vitriol. We had an issue with T-shirts. Actually, it was a cool shirt. Scott Dawson from East Coast Screen Printing, the dude's brain thinks on a different wavelength. I saw that he posted going to the Surf Expo because they get to see kind of what's coming out in extreme sports before it comes out. But his brain on the designs, he just thinks kind of, that was a good design. I remember a couple years ago, they had the sugar skulls thing for one of the races. And my wife, who doesn't buy anything, we both have T-shirts from that race. Well, this was a cool design. Either they undersold or underpurchased to sell, or more people purchased than what they thought were going to purchase on the sales. But there was a negative. And then entrepreneur says, hey, I have the capacity to, and all of a sudden we are selling shirts. Thought process on this. You think about this kind of stuff. Hey, FTR Club, whoever's holding the next race, how many shirts do you want? Okay, we want. Okay, well, you saw what happened last year. I understand. Fantastic. I will sell you this many shirts at this price. I'm also the day Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock, I'm opening a store, and I'm leaving it open for 4 days. In any of those shirts that I sell, I'm keeping all the profits. He's already got the screens or whatever they're doing,
Yeah.
and if they sell out, cool. I'll take the extra.
Yeah. I mean, it's your business. You're the one that does it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're not.
So that's my thought.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, why not? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
I'll sell you what you want. The club can. Here's your. You get your $10 per shirt, whatever you make off of them. But you don't want 700. You only want 600. Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, whatever I sell, I keep.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I keep that store open for 4 days, and you want extra. But if you have extra, you might, like you said, while we were off camera waiting for Hannah to leave, we went to that GNCC last year, and they have bins of multiple years of shirts that are older.
Yeah.
And they have them.
They were like 10. I think some were like 15, but most were like around like $10 a shirt.
Yeah.
So I mean, I bought several. Like,
because yes, it's cool to have a shirt for the year, but it's also just if you're a motorcycle enthusiast, racing enthusiast, I don't care if it's a High Point a race shirt. I don't care. Yeah. I'll wear it.
Yeah.
So yes, they probably already, like you said, they've already expensed that money.
Yeah.
Well, just bring them back and sell them the next year.
Sell them at the banquet. Or take them to, well, I mean, that could be a conflict. If you took them to the next race, because then that could pull from that club. But like at the banquet, put them out for sale, whatever.
Put them at your next race the next year.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to sell them. You may just not sell all of them right now.
Yeah.
But I would rather, me personally, I would rather have too many than not enough and then piss everybody off.
And the trophy thing, I'm with you guys on that. Honestly, if you look at the average, I don't care if there's 20 guys and you only want to give top 3. I don't really have a problem with that. I don't care. I mean,
I didn't see that.
I know that's been something for because people were like, well, I thought I was going to get a trophy. I finished 6th, and well, there was only like 7 guys in your class. Yeah. I mean, I saw one class, a dude was in 36, and I'm like, we have a full line of moto. It was one of the morning classes.
Yeah.
The dude was in 36th place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like straight up moto. Like there's a line of moto here.
The trophies they did give out, there was, so like Gunner, he finished 4th. Mm-hmm. Typically in a C class, they've got, in general, you go back 5. They went back 3. In a kids class at the C level, going back 5, I absolutely agree with, because it's a little bit different than at the adult level. Okay, go back 3.
Yeah.
Or A, B, 3, C, 5. And you could do that across the board.
Yeah.
So there was, because Mindy walked up there and they were like, well, yeah, we're only going back 3. And Mindy's like, are you kidding me? Like, and they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay. Like, whatever. But it's like, so, yeah, with the trophy thing, like, I agree, like, oh, well, you don't need a trophy for 10th place. But at the kid level, especially at the C beginner level, like, okay, I could see. Because it's encouragement. It's like, hey, you achieved something, there's meaning behind it. Now, giving a kid a 10th place trophy, absolutely not. Like, no.
No, and I think it does. Like, you look at the pattern of classes, and this race, Mondon Hill can look at this race and know that, okay, last year Mondon Hill was the second most attended race there was, or the most.
I mean, the numbers are pretty much standard, or pretty much stable, give or take.
Yeah.
You're gonna have at least 1,000 riders.
How are they dispersed?
Well, it's like I said, it's simple. A and B 3, C 5.
Yeah. Kids,
and do it all the way across the board. Like, it's pretty simple. If you do that, you're not going to have stuff left out. Like, it's going to be picked up.
Yeah.
Now, if you had a class that was a trophy class that had 100 riders, okay, then I got 10th. Well, I'd have had a many 100. Okay, well, that's pretty damn good, But I mean, we don't have any of those situations anymore. So it's,
for the most part, even in that class that had that it was a C class, and I don't know what age group, but it was an older class. Hey, if you're finishing 10th, you're in the top 1/3 of the class. That's awesome. But you're 55 years old. You ain't getting a trophy. It's okay.
Yeah. Go back 5 and call it a day.
Yeah.
It's that. I mean, it's and it. If they just standardize it across the board, it makes ordering them for any club like it's simple.
Yeah.
Because in general the class numbers are stabilized. I know there for several years, this year this class would be this big. You go to next year, well, hell, there's only 2. Yeah. Well, the year before there was 10. So it there was a lot of discrepancies in how many trophies to order, not to order. Now it's pretty much the numbers are stabilized, and you just standardize it across the board and call it a day.
Well, that leads me to the last part. You and I have talked about it multiple times, whether it's the volunteer model or whatever. And then someone came on and posted, I thought, a really nice post about Donnie and the safety crew and did they race and should they, what happened. And I didn't realize how many miles those guys ride on a weekend. That's actually pretty. So
yeah, it's quite a bit.
They're not racing, but they're getting to ride a lot, and they're out there organizing so that they have the best route to and from places. But I will say, I've said this for years. I've followed racing all over the country. The fact that FTR, a volunteer organization, had a traveling safety crew before NASCAR did.
Yeah.
NASCAR, I know they have doctors and stuff in there, but the same people don't show up every race.
Yeah.
IMSA had that. There was a local firefighter here who was on the IMSA safety crew, and he might be in California one weekend, in Atlanta, Road Atlanta the next. But FTR has that. Like, if you crash, who's coming to see you? For all the flaws, they beat GNCC to the mark on that.
Yeah.
GNCC now has they can do X-rays and that kind of stuff on site now.
Yeah.
But that's not till last year. FTR's had that for,
and that's only because Stu.
Yeah.
Stu's the one that has, because that's his. It's his doctor that's doing that. Whoever the primary doctor that Stu has worked with for the last several years, that's who it is. And this doctor lives up there where Stu's facility is. Because when a lot of kids, when they get hurt at Shoals, they go see him. So he's right there.
But they don't have 8 guys on motorcycles that can get to you in 4 minutes.
No.
So for all the crap that we've said and people say and different things, I will never belittle that part of FTR.
No, that is very well formed, organized, functioning. Like every event they have their shit together.
Yeah. Now, that being said, Michelle and I were walking around Sunday morning. We went down to so it would be the northeast part of the hill. Mm-hmm. There's a little ramp that they were letting people, come up and down on safety crews. And there was this open spot where there were porta potties, massive porta potties. And I said, that area is big enough to have a start. Wouldn't it be cool if we could start down there and have like a grass track section up here on the hill, race up to the hill, and we could all watch our family and friends. And I know we've used that same starting area for years. We tried it down on one side. We tried it on the eastern edge of the property that one time. But dadgummit, I want to see a section. I got to watch my friends race for 1.5 minutes this weekend.
Yeah, spectating at that one is shit.
Yeah.
But like we've discussed before, you have Tough Mudder events out there. You have Jeeping with Judd and a couple other things where they are all over the property.
They're all participants.
What's the difference? You signed the same damn thing.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But we had that discussion this weekend about if I'm at a Tough Mudder, I'm a participant. I'm just a spectator here. If I'm Jeeping with Judd, I may be a spectator because I may be riding with someone in their Jeep, but I'm a participant because I'm in that Jeep.
Read the language on the sign-in sheet. It says participant. Doesn't say spectator. It says participant.
Yeah.
There's no difference. And it's as simple because in years past, they have allowed us down in different spots, and there's never been an issue.
Yeah.
So it's real simple. Like, okay, and you can fence it all. Like, hey, you're allowed out this far. Like, and it's all within close proximity.
Yeah.
You know, and it.
I would just love to see one of the tracks, because I was talking with somebody who helps put on races this weekend, and they were talking about access, like, hey, we can go through this gate and we can go through this gate. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we have this gate. You go through the gate. I understand we have to go through this gate. We go through this gate, and instead of taking the same trail we've taken 13 years, 100 feet in, let's turn left.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we put up snow fence, we put up the signs that say first gear only, and we come out that same gate. Like, those gates are wide. You can have a non-racing section we go across the bridge in first gear.
Yeah.
Why can't we come through a gate and go out the gate?
Yeah.
And just race. I know it's going to take time, but like you said last time we had a podcast, stop looking for making the trails perfect. Hey, I'm going to go through. I got a bush hog. Okay, we need to trim that tree. We're good.
Yeah.
And just come up with. I don't think most of us actually care what we race on. There was a AA guy on Sunday morning. Someone asked him, one of the officials asked him, what do you think of the track? He goes, dude, we go, all of a sudden, 90 degrees, I got to get on the brakes. And then I go 90 degrees, and I got to get on the brakes. And I go, and he goes, I don't like it. This is a top-level AA guy telling someone, I don't like it. I don't care what you put us on, racers, non-racers. One, if we could watch more, we'd probably be more active. We'd be involved more.
Yeah.
Two, we're gonna complain. You could give us the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're gonna bitch about something.
Yeah.
The banking's not steep enough. I don't like this line. But I was looking at a Sorks post the other day. Some dude was complaining about slower guys, and I was like, it doesn't matter where we are.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're going to complain about something. If you gave us 10 miles of grass track, we're going to complain. But if that is what you wanted to do that race, cool.
Yeah. I mean, some people in general, yes. Like, in general, I don't bitch about the track. I don't complain about it. There might be parts of a track that I don't like, but you're not going to go to a track and like every single section. But I understand that. Now, if there is something done to the track where it is just completely freaking stupid, like it's not safe, like it's dangerous, whatever, like, yes, I will bitch, because that's different. But just bitching because, oh, I don't like it. Okay, well, just do it. Like I said, the very end of the lap and the very first part of the lap that wasn't even a quarter mile, I didn't really care for. Okay, you go do it, you get through it, and it is what it is. Now, if it was dangerous or something, it was completely ass back, like it just did not make any sense at all, then okay, But then you would have a mass. Normally, you would have a mass group saying, "Hey, there is a problem," and then okay, there is some validity to it. But when it's a couple people, it's like,
we're not going to like. I was listening to an IndyCar podcast the other day, and they were talking about how they test at Sebring on the short course at Sebring all the time, and they laugh because, I hope that didn't stop our podcast. They laugh because, like, on the short course, when they go race an IMSA race, they love they know every breaking point, they know every bump. Then you get them onto the endurance portion of the course, and they're like fish out of water, and they're fussing about that part of the course because they don't know it.
Yeah.
But they've raced these 8 corners thousands of laps.
Yeah.
And these are professional guys. So amateur guys, dude, give us a field with some good corners and some dirt and throw us through some trees and
Yeah.
all right. And guess what? The next race, when we go to Mountain Hill, we're gonna have open fields. We're gonna have trees. We're gonna have tight stuff. You're gonna have uphill, downhill.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have some stuff that you're like, oh my god, it was so cool. And actually, it was scary as hell because you went up a hill, and as soon as you got to the top, you went down.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, it's great. That stuff's scary sometimes.
Yeah.
But every track needs to be different.
Yeah.
Every track. Keep talking. I'm gonna make sure we're still on because I got a phone call. We're still on.
Still on.
I was a little nervous.
But I've noticed, like, after this weekend, a few people saying stuff, and it's like, who are you? Like, I don't even. They're not even. Numerous of them don't race anymore, or have showed up like once or twice.
Yeah.
They're nobody. Like, honestly, they should just be cleared out of the group in general, because, like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Like, you're.
Like, I have no opinion. I watch, but I have no opinion of the track. I have an opinion of where I get to watch from.
Yeah.
But out there, I have no opinion because I haven't raced.
Yeah.
I get your opinion and I get other people's opinion, but my opinion on the track matters not.
Yeah.
As a fan on top, I'll talk about Mondon Hill. I'll talk about all of those places because I'm there and it works or doesn't work.
Yeah. You can see, you can't see, you can
Yeah.
get around, you can't get around.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one has always had issues with spectating. Some years have been better than others, depending on how they lay it out. The way they had it this year, as far as spectating, was honestly shit.
Yeah.
It really was.
Down there and I know it would have taken time and effort, and down there where you guys used the couple hills, I know there's the Jeep stuff, but in between the Jeep stuff, there's just open.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, why don't you send them off the hill, around the Jeep stuff, through this aisle? I know it won't be the most exciting thing, but that turn that you fell over in, we love that as fans. We love that stuff. Like, is it fun for you guys? No, but I get to see people longer, and that would have added a quarter to a half mile, which at that speed, yeah, send them up the hill, send them down the hill, send them through here. But then we can at least feel like we're watching something.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't want to watch, I can just go to a marathon and sit in one spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I thought the responses from the FTR officials, I thought the responses from FTR vendors, and actually, I don't know the guy's name. One of the guys was complaining about something, and about the gas being stolen.
Yeah.
And he posted, not the guy who had his gas stolen, some other guy posted. Then the FTR group posted something out, and I don't know who the guy is, but utmost props and kudos to you for coming on and saying, hey man, I was just really hot and I was ticked off, and you know what? I'm sorry I said it. And I thought that was, and I told Michelle, I'm like, okay, so this guy posts this vitriol over here and then comes back on and says, hey man, I'm really sorry. The general public needs to see that this guy, same guy, we need to merge those posts and make another post like, hey, after hearing the other side,
yeah,
he didn't change his opinion, he changed his tone. And I appreciate that because sometimes we do get pissed.
Yeah.
But the guy listened to other people and then.
Well, I know part of what you're talking about, but I don't know the other, whatever other post.
They was talking about the someone posted about like all the negative that they heard from the shirt. There was stuff being stolen, and there was a whole thread on that.
Yeah.
And then the people with the shirts, there was a thread on that. Well, someone posted something about, hey guys, like there's a lot of good that happened. I've been racing, and I can't remember how long.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay,
and then the guy came back on that talked about the gas and was on this post positively. And it was like, sweet. Like, I appreciate that you took the time, collected your thoughts, and said, hey man, I was just hot.
Yeah.
Still shitty. when you hide your gas and someone steals it, we shouldn't have to lock up our stuff to go race.
Well, like several people have said, that was intentional. Like
Yeah.
that was specifically done to you. But like, where's my damn phone? It's in FTR has invited a clientele in that they shouldn't have invited in, and has been nothing but fucking issues since. So like where we ended up having, and this applies to all properties that we go to, parking is becoming an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So like Saturday when we got there and I finally found a place to park, we parked. So we were there for however long, and a truck with a small trailer nosed in behind us, and there was plenty of room or whatever. And then one of his buddies showed up with a truck and parked next to him. There's plenty of room. Because I was looking for spots to where I could just pull through. Well, I couldn't find anything, so I found a spot where I pulled sideways. So at some point during the day, I think it's while we were at Gunner's race, I think, another one of their buddies shows up and parks. So when we get back, I'm like, well, can't load a freaking golf cart in the trailer because I can drop the door down, but I can't pull in.
Yeah.
Because dumbass parks right there. So then while we were up watching 2 o'clock race, we come back and another one of their buddies shows up. So that's how I was. My whole ass end is boxed in. And I was like, are you freaking like, and I was pretty loud. I'm like, you don't know me. Why are you parking like blocking all my shit? Like what? And this is part of that fucking clientele out of South Florida. Like, are they that freaking stupid and just oblivious to any damn common sense about anything? Like, you don't know me. Why are you parked right next to me blocking me?
Yeah.
And I guess Mindy, she walked over and asked them to move the black vehicle so we could load the golf cart. But she was like, well, how are you going to load the golf cart? I said, I'm going to pull out in the middle of the freaking road and stop. And if they say anything, I'm like, well, y'all dumbasses want to block me in. But I'm like, how freaking stupid are you? Like, I don't get it. But that, I guarantee you that is part of the gas being stolen. I'd almost put money on it. But I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You get rid of that, and you get rid of a lot of problems in FTR. You clean that out, problems go away. And there's places in Polk County that were not issues until that came in. And now there's issues.
Yeah, and I know that's been some of the issues with the registration and some of the not as nice comments to people in positions.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, I think it was, I don't know if it was Randy or one of the people posted this week, like, dude, there's really not that many paid positions. So, like, you're yelling at somebody who is taking time away from their own life to volunteer.
Well, it comes back. Why are you going to stand there and let somebody yell at you?
Yeah.
Why? Okay, you're gone. You're banished. It's that simple.
Especially when it's not a safety issue, you're just fussing.
Yeah, it's that simple. Realistically, if I walk up to your front door and you open your front door and I just go to yelling at you, what are you going to do? You're either going to beat my ass or slam the door, whatever.
Yeah.
So why is it any different out there? This is okay. One, you're official, so you're in charge of whatever. Why are you going to let a customer, I guess is a good way, like you're part of the business, a customer come up to you and just, the customer ain't always right.
Do you think you're right? You're right there. Do you think at some point it gets? Do you think we see frustration or a skirmish at some point?
Oh yeah.
I'm just curious because there is this undercurrent of bubbling anger that is sensed from group to group.
Well, I mean, like with anything, eventually the wrong one is going to try to bite on the wrong one, and it's going to be on somebody's toting the ass whipping. Plain and simple.
Yeah. I'm just curious because it is, we all have the privilege to race.
Yeah.
And if you have the funds and can go do it, you have the right to buy a membership and go do it.
Yeah.
But there are rules to abide by.
Yeah.
We went shopping the other night and we were in a department store and someone was carrying their dog around. Why?
Yeah.
We've lost that decorum, the common sense
Yeah.
decorum. Like, this is not the place to bring your dog inside.
No.
It didn't have a collar. It didn't have a leash. It didn't have
exactly.
Nothing.
And if it was a service dog, it would be on a leash and a harness, yada yada yada.
Yeah. No, they were just walking around the store. And at one point, I was in the dressing room, and all of a sudden, this dog starts barking, and I'm like, I'm in a men's department of a department store. Like, I'm
service animals don't make noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I take that example into the FTR, which is a volunteer organization for the most part, but I don't care if Tim Nordell gets paid. You don't go yell at the lady signing you up for the race.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, she has nothing to do with nothing. Like
you don't yell at the officials if they tell you, you know the rule. I know the rule. I haven't raced in 2 years. I know the rule. If I get the little band and I get to go to the line, as soon as the person that I'm helping, I leave. I exit and go behind the next line or off to the side. I don't stand there.
Yeah.
It's
well,
not
like
a tough rule.
Like when I went and signed Gunner up, so I had all our stuff. I signed up the same time he did because we're both up there. So I had all my stuff to Lacey, doing whatever, and so I get this handful of wristbands. I'm like, okay, well, which one's freaking winning? You know? And I'm like, well, I need a wristband to ride practice with him. Well, that's another. And she's like, well, that's another sign-in sheet, yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, do I get that from you or do I? So no, you'll have to go. So I'm like, okay, I didn't know. I wish that was published somewhere, but that's not.
Yeah.
If you're going to ride practice with your kid on Saturday, you have to sign and fill out a whole nother form, and then that goes in a whole nother stack. Okay, cool.
So it's like a guest rider, or you don't have to pay for that?
No. It's just you. Well, one, you get another wristband, and it just, I guess it, in case anything happens, they have a whole nother stack of who was there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. I go get another one. I fill it out. I walk back up. I cut through the line, and like, there's a guy. I'm like, hey, can you mind if I hand this to Lacey real quick? He's like, oh, no problem. Because I don't need to go stand. The line's way out here.
Yeah.
She already knows. I'm just handing her a piece of paper. So I hand her, and she just hands me the thing. But like with that, like there's people that would have showed their ass. Well, that's not something. There's no reason to show your ass.
Yeah.
Now I wish that piece of information was published somewhere, because I would have already had that in problem taking. Because I try to have all that shit done to where I just hand you something and you hand me something. There ain't no discussion. There ain't no nothing. There's not an issue. But something that stupid and simple would have turned into an ordeal with some. So
yeah. But there was a lot of this race. It's funny. The on-track stuff is one thing. There was a lot of off-track stuff this week from this race. Now we get another month off. And I sometimes wonder if all this time off is actually causes people to fester versus when we're racing all the time. When we're racing every 2 weeks, no one thinks about it. Like, it's time to go to the next race.
Yeah.
But we got a whole nother month off before the next race. And
yeah.
And there is nowhere else to race. Like, we're going to talk about some of the schedules, but if you are from South Florida or us, Central Florida, dude, we've done it. It's 8 hours to the closest other race. Yeah. Like and that's when you go to Indiana, it's 16, 17 hours. When you go to, it's this is it. It's not that they have us pigeonholed. It's that you live in Florida, this is it.
Yeah.
Or you go race motocross.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, motocross, they ain't gonna put up with it.
No. Well, that brings up like I said, like, why are you going to stand there and take it?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh man, we only got 500 riders this weekend. Like, we really can't afford to lose anybody. You're pulling over 1,000. Who gives a shit if you lose 5?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like, who cares?
Randy likes people and will kick them out of Dade City.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
But all the other tracks, they're like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why we put up, and this will start. So the circle around with that, they had the FTR elections, and it was between Randy and Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were pissed that there was even that many votes for Kyle for president. Now, I know with the stuff with I know there's a lot of crap that happened with the whole Garrett thing and all that crap that went down. I don't know all the little specifics from each side of the story because there were so many people involved that were banned from this, removed from this. Like, I don't know all the little specifics of what's happened, what hasn't. Like, but like, Randy's a nice guy. He's been around FTR for decades. Very nice guy, nice like. But that's part of the problem. You're too nice. Kyle, who's same thing, has been around for decades, just like me. But Kyle has a different mindset, runs a business, owns a business, like, doesn't put up with as much shit and puts people in their place, or will throw stuff out there. Mm-hmm. To me, that's what we need. We need to clean house a little bit.
Yeah.
Things need to be cleaned out, and some crap needs to be established. Now, there is a difference from the Saturday crowd to the Sunday crowd. The Sunday crowd, there doesn't always seem to be as many issues as the Saturday crowd. So, okay, the Sunday side, okay, isn't bad. There's probably some that need to be tuned up or possibly removed. A few. Saturday, yeah, it needs to be thinned out. Now, with that being said, you probably could thin out more if you just took the quads and went. Yeah. And there's ways to fix problems. It's just which head you want to cut off and which route you want to go. Yeah. They can be done.
And there's not that many series. I guess the Southern Off-Road Series, they're running. They do quads and bikes. Mm-hmm. And then Mideast does quads and bikes. Mm-hmm. And we do quads and bikes. Mm-hmm. And then you have the National Series that does quads and bikes. But like your Sorks, your Virginia Hare Scramble, North Carolina Hare Scramble, they don't touch quads.
Yeah.
So on the quad side, my point is if you feel like you're being shorted on the quad side, or you're not treated well or whatever, your options aren't a lot.
Yeah.
So either make this work really well, and if you need to tighten up the group, then do that. Be the leader in that group.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't know, I haven't been to a Saturday in a long time just because of.
Well, I hadn't really, a little bit here and there, but like that, like I showed you, like.
Yeah.
Now, in general, on Sunday, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But on Saturday it would. And it's like, seriously?
Yeah, on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, you can kind of pull in. People have spent the night, they're camping, and then they pull out. You can come in and almost find a whole section to yourself on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where you have the Saturday people are also infiltrated by the people who are making it a weekend. I think Zach's here. we might have another interruption, but we're going to let it fly. He'll just walk through. But when you get this big, you can't help but have problems.
Yeah, you're going to have issues, but
can't-
you have to handle the issues and
Yeah.
control them, and that's the piece that's missing. Now, I will say in the last 2 years, so from last season to now, I will say the whole pit riding thing and all that crap has significantly dropped, has come way, way down. It's way, way better than it's been in a long time.
Now, I don't know if that's an AMA thing or if that was started by Racer Productions, but they started that last year at Loretta Lynn's about what was allowed and what wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
And then Mini O's followed suit.
Yeah, but even like what Mini O's did, like it didn't make.
Well, they got rid of
There were, yeah, but there's a lot of confusion. Like, okay, well, I can go ride this as a pit bike, but I can't ride this.
Well, no pit bikes at all.
Yeah,
but you can have a pedal bicycle, but you can't have this vehicle.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, as someone who's attended Mini O's, I went when it was utter chaos.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a couple pinch points. You take your life in your hands trying to cross the street.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I just want to watch the racing.
Yeah.
I want to walk around and I get it. The kids, but you know what? When I was a kid, we used to ride bicycles. We didn't have electric, but when a bicycle can go 22 miles per hour without me doing anything, and you have 10 of them doing that,
yeah,
you start getting a little.
Well, there's a translation, like with Mini O's, when you look at like the aerial, once everybody's there. Well, the track's here. Well, I'm parked. Literally, if you walk,
Oh God,
I'm 20 minutes that way.
Yeah.
Well, if my kid's racing, okay, my kid gets on his bike, like I'm half an hour, but like,
yeah,
there's a reason for something, but that reason part is what has been just completely disregarded, and now it's just for entertainment.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the same thing with FTR, or was with FTR. Like I said, it's gotten way, way better. But it's like, okay, I'm parked way out here, but I'm 10 acres from where I need to be. Well, I can't walk up. My kid's on their bike. I can't walk up there in time. Like there has to be something.
Yeah. Oh, I agree, and I will say as I noticed way less side by sides in the perimeter this year.
Yeah.
Just watching.
Yeah.
Because last year we had to go through people side by sides to try to find some place to watch.
Yeah.
This year I could actually stand and there was less stuff. So, but that being said, I think we covered the FTR stuff. There's been some exciting off-track news. One of them just broke yesterday. One of them last week. Caleb Russell gonna race Ampro Yamaha.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you're unemployed.
What happened? Do we feel like he can do anything? I mean, he was good, but he's been out for a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's room. The rumor started months ago about Yamaha supposedly hired him to help develop a 350. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I haven't actually seen anything official that says that. I mean, we can all. I'm sure there's people that know what's going on, and then you can kind of speculate. I think this is just my opinion. He was still employed with KTM. He was training all of KTM's guys at his facility. KTM, who's bankrupt, going under, when that started coming down the pipeline, obviously with his position and what he's doing, he's going to be one of the first ones let go. I think he was let go. Hey, we'll finish out the season, da 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 da. But then you're done. I think he went to reaching. Hey, because I'm sure he was sitting there thinking, oh well, if I do this for the next 5 years, 10 years, and then I'm good. Like that, everything's taken care of.
Yeah.
I think that plan got interrupted, and I think this is his way to get a paycheck. If the 350, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if there's any validity to that. If Yamaha was freaking smart, they would be. And like I told my dad, I'm like, it ain't hard. You take your 450, you take the cylinder, you size it down to a 350, and obviously you got to adjust something. But then that's it. You ain't got to redevelop shit. All you got to do is put a smaller jug on the bike.
You got a pretty good platform.
Yeah, you don't have to do a whole lot. This isn't hard. If they're smart, they will, because they will take over a huge market share. But I think this is him continuing to make a living, what he does.
Do you think he can win? He's young enough. I mean, no one touched him when he was racing before.
No, but that was what?
That was a long time ago.
What, 3,
4 years ago?
Yeah.
So you lose a lot.
I mean,
now he's been riding with all the guys.
Yeah, I don't, because I mean, there's no video of him practicing with these. Like, I don't know what his level is.
And we know his fitness was good.
Yeah.
I think you can get that back. I'm guessing he hasn't allowed himself to go.
No, from what I've seen, no, he's still in the same.
So
it's the reflexes, all that is it's still there at that level.
Yeah, and
I guess at round 1 you'll find out.
And it's also, he was on an Austrian bike for a long time.
Well, his entire riding career, he's ridden nothing but KTM.
So going from that steel chassis to
Yeah,
aluminum chassis is going to be different.
Yeah,
like, it's going to be different, but it does bring some excitement to it, because like, oh, okay, we've added somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know if he wins. I think he's top 5.
Yeah,
there's so much muscle memory, and the tracks haven't changed.
Yeah, yeah, but I think since he left, I think the pace has increased. The guys have gotten faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like and to me, that's going to be the hard thing. I think with Stu, he's at the tail end, and he's still trying to be number one. Like, now he's brought in. I guess he hired Ryan Sipes to run everything.
Yeah, so he's going to race.
His mechanic, I know there was a change. I guess he kept his mechanic, but he's doing something else, I think, with the team now. So, like, he's bringing in a lot of people.
And they're hosting a regional or area next year.
Yeah.
So, for Loretta Lynn. So, like, he's got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah.
But he wants to race.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about it earlier, hey, is he gonna just manage this? And I guess the answer was, I want to race.
Yeah.
I'll let someone who doesn't race anymore manage it.
Yeah. So I know they've got their bikes. They're all started back up doing their stuff. Like, because he posted a picture of it. It was, like 20-foot enclosed trailer full of brand new bikes. So it ain't just a couple of them. It's the full squad, full group of them. So
the other exciting team news, and it's not directly related to off-road, but the PR, Jeremy Coker goes to Triumph to be their team manager. Then it comes out he's actually the general manager over the entire Triumph operation.
Mm-hmm.
Amateur, SMX, GNCC.
Mm-hmm.
That part got me. I was like, huh. They've signed over in Europe. They've signed dadgummit.
Yeah.
Enduro guy.
Yeah.
So next step is we're going in Enduro racing over here, or we're going GNCC racing over here. That's in that press release.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like Jeremy left a crappy job at Star Racing Yamaha to be their 450 manager to now be the entire GM.
Yeah. They offered him a shitload of money
to operate. Yeah. Had to be, because it's not I'm guessing he didn't even have to move, because those guys all live I mean, the Star facility is actually in Georgia. They all live in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
The facility Star has practiced at Triumph.
Yeah.
I wonder if that changes now, but that to me is an interesting move. I know it has connotations for the Supercross side and motocross, but I was more interested with when we were at the GNCC last year. Ducati was at the GNCC.
Yeah.
Now Triumph in the press release says for their amateur, SMX, and GNCC campaigns, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so maybe they're. And I wonder if a lot of these teams are now thinking, well, KTM had done screwed themselves. There's going to be some market share available.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anything.
KTM is separated from MV Agusta.
I haven't seen anything as far as anything specifically changing on the off road side. I know Ashburn's in California with gas, and they're doing whatever out there. So that tells you.
Rockstar Energy.
Well, not whoever's running the gas side
okay.
for the off road. So that tells me right there. Okay, well, gas is still alive.
Yeah.
So they're still going. I haven't seen any, which I mean, KTM keeps their shit pretty hush hush.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything, like, oh, well, Johnny Gerard's on something else. Like, I haven't seen any changes with that. I haven't seen anything Husky wise, though. I haven't seen any of their riders really post much, so I don't know. Nothing's really came out as to what's changing, what's not changing. But like Ducati hasn't put anything out about really anything.
No, I don't think. I think because they're going MXGP this year. They have they had their rider testing the 450 over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for them it's going to be MXGP next year, MX and Supercross.
But weren't they supposed to start this year?
No, not over here. No. 2026. Oh. But I'm wondering if it's going to be like this is our main focus 2026, but we're going to have this little side piece. We want to see what the bike does off road.
Yeah.
So that you might not hear about it.
Yeah.
But we're going to have some.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And on the Triumph side, they're about to release the 450. Well, they have, which is tough to figure out why Sabachi's not staying, but nonetheless, they'll now have the double platform so they can go XC2 and XC1. And even if it's not top guys, let's see how the bike does.
Yeah.
And
so I mean, what's his face?
Yeah, the enduro guy.
Yeah, I can't.
He rode one.
Yeah, the last one, and yeah. I mean, he almost won. I mean, him and Stu were seconds. Yeah. So I mean,
the bike did good.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's capable.
So and they said it had a good engine. That was one of the big things on the 250. So on the 450 side, I mean, a good engine versus how the power gets put down is more important. Like, yeah. So because if a 450 is a lot of engine.
Yeah.
It's not. It's how the power gets there.
Yeah. Is it usable or not usable?
Yeah. Yeah. So very interesting. That's kind of it on the personnel side that I'm aware of.
Well, Cody Webb left Sherco.
Yes.
And went to Yamaha.
And by the way, Sherco's done some arena cross racing.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, they're and Strang is Beta's off-road manager.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Is that a good move?
For him?
For him, is that a good move for Beta?
They need to do something. I mean, if they want to, they make a full range of bikes from 125 on up.
Yeah.
Off-road, a little bit of motocross, dual sport. Like, they have a full range, but their marketing sucks.
And by the way, if you race the National Enduro Series and you own a Beta, you automatically go into a drawing to win a Beta every year. Yeah. A 125 up to a 300cc two-stroke.
Yeah.
I told Michelle, I'm like, we're racing the wrong bike. You can just go race the series and you have a chance to win a new bike.
Yeah.
And they just give one away every year to the Beta Cup.
Yeah. But they do have a 350. They have a 390, 450, 480. Like, they have...
Yeah.
They have a large array of different stuff, but their marketing freaking sucks.
Yeah.
And on the off-road side, like, they have an XC2 team with some decent guys, but they're not going to win you a championship. And then, like, when they brought their 450 out, they moved up the one guy to start riding it, which, if he's not, he was doing decent in XC2. So to me, to take your top guy and then you go put him on a bike to help develop it, well, that takes away what he was doing in that. To me, that's stupid. And he went on it, and obviously he's not. He's going to be back in the pack.
Yeah.
And then they brought Strain and took that place and moved him back down. But like, their marketing sucks. If they want to be a contender, they've got to step their game up and put some people in the right place.
And I just feel with what's going to happen to we might not see a large difference in the color of KTM.
I think in out here you're going to see it.
But we're gonna they're already massively owned by other companies.
Yeah, I mean they have different. Yeah.
So if those companies want to continue, you might not see as many teams and such, but I think I think you're still going to see KTMs, but it's a chance for a Beta, a Sherco, a Yamaha, a Triumph, Ducati to be like, oh, hey guys, you liked this brand? We got you.
Yeah.
We got you. Come on. And start stealing some of that share, or people who couldn't get parts for their bike and different things.
Yeah.
This is a chance for those people to be swayed.
Yeah. And well, that's why I said with Yamaha, if they actually are developing a 350, if they will hurry up and do it right, they will steal a major part of the market from KTM.
Yeah.
I think KTM screwed themselves. With COVID, and people, oh, well, we can go outside and do this. They sold a shitload of bikes really fast. They made a bunch of money. They jacked their prices through the freaking roof. And they kept selling. Then all of a sudden, sales stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people started coming to their senses. But during all this, you're building a multi-million-dollar facility in California. You're doing this. You're just bleeding money, but nothing's coming in.
Yeah.
And I think they screwed themselves. And I don't think KTM's going to go away. I think you're fixing to see KTM severely shrink and go back to what it was prior to Dungey.
Maybe
still good brand, yeah, but not nearly as massive.
Maybe they'll get back to KTM ready to race, and that'll just be the focus.
I mean,
because they were good at that.
That's bullshit. Even back then, that's bullshit. There is no bike produced that is ready to race off the showroom floor. That is 100% false statement from any brand.
But that's what they sold, and people loved it.
Yeah, but you also back then weren't paying, say, $13,000 for a bike.
Yeah,
that's to me that is the problem, or part of the problem with the market is the pricing, which I've never understood this. And Florida is one of the highest priced markets. Dealer A, dealer B, same size dealers, have the same bike. Dealer A can sell that bike in whatever state for, say, $8,000 out the door. Dealer B won't sell that bike for anything less than 13. Same MSRP. Well, why is there a $5,000 difference? Why are you as a brand allowing that? There's a problem there. Because that's the big thing now is there's numerous dealers out of state that are just pushing inventory out. But you can go out of state and save $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on the same bike. Well, why is it so expensive down here?
I don't know.
But like I said, why are you as a brand allowing that? You shouldn't. To me, MSRP is the price. Now, obviously, different states have different tax. The only thing that should be added onto that price is tax. That's the freaking price of the bike. All this other stuff is all bullshit. You don't warranty anything really.
Yeah.
So why are you so concerned about uh, assembly fees and all that? Like, if I want to go buy the bike in a crate, sell me the bike in a crate. You're not going to warranty anything. You're not going to.
Yeah.
KTM themselves might, but that's mainly the motor or electronics. That has nothing to do with putting handlebars on.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I know when I wanted my bike, I got mine in Virginia.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get it in Florida.
Yeah.
And the one I found in Florida was down in Miami, and it was a couple thousand more than driving to Virginia.
Yeah. And I know several people that they buy all their stuff out of state. They have it shipped here. It's $500. $500 to ship it. Well, if I can save $5,000, okay, well, I save $4,500. Well, I can do a lot with $4,500.
Yeah.
But that's, and even like with Gunner, like realistically, from this point on, he probably will never ride a brand new bike because I'm not going to pay that. I refuse to. There's too many, and I even told my dad today. I was like, at the end of the season, we're done with this 65. We're selling it, and I said whatever I get for it, I said I'll take it, and I'll start looking for a 125. He can't ride it, but right now the way prices are, if I can find a good deal on a good used 125 that's got like no time on it for $5,000 or less, yeah, I will go buy it. It can go sit in a freaking corner, and in 3 years or whatever, he can ride the damn thing. Like, because to buy that bike new, you're looking at $10,000.
Yeah.
Well, if I can buy it for 45, like, why?
Yeah.
There's no reason to go spend that just to spend it.
But there are people that like to get their new bikes every year.
Yeah, but they have a lot of issues. Because I also saw that in a group. It had to do with KTM. Is like, even from a business standpoint, and the guy was right. He's like, they're ignorant because every year they're changing this or doing that. He's like, they're having to retool everything.
Mm-hmm.
That costs money. Well, if you're retooling everything every year and changing, he's like, you're just wasting money for no reason. Like, you're not recouping what you're. He's like, that's stupid.
Didn't bikes used to go through 4 or 5 year flows? Like,
yes,
you introduce it, then you get 4 or 5 years, and by the end of that 5th year, people were like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest bike." Then they'd introduce the new model.
In general, yes. I think Yamaha has, besides Suzuki, Yamaha I think has the longest running. In general, same platform.
Yeah.
They really, yes, they've changed stuff, but like, it's not like every year, oh, well, we're going to change the way the foot pegs mount, this and that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of money, like, when you start looking at it.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to finish up because FTR is in the middle of their season.
Sort of.
Kind of.
We're only going into round 4.
It's true.
We're not even halfway.
But other series, GNCC will announce their schedule this weekend at the banquet.
Okay.
Usually that's what happens.
Yeah.
But Mid-East has already dropped their schedule. The AMA Enduro, National Enduro Series, has dropped their schedule. And SADRA has dropped their schedule. The National Enduro Series, 9 rounds. One of the rounds is on a Saturday this year because they're actually running it in Indiana on the same weekend of the Motocross of Nations, which is just kind of cool. It's going to be like I'm guessing, kind of a motorcycling festival. You'll have guys that go to the National Enduro and then go over and watch Motocross of Nations, and people come
kind of like Bike Week.
Yeah. 2 rounds in Missouri, 1 round in South Carolina, 1 round in Louisiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and Alabama. So a very Midwest-centric series with maybe Missouri getting a little bit. And then if you say South Carolina, Louisiana, Georgia, and Alabama, you have 4 Southern rounds.
It took Texas out though, right?
It took Texas out this year. So I think there's the double Missouri round, Flying W Ranch, and Lead Belt in Park Hills.
Yeah, which is a regular for them.
SADRA is the one I found interesting. If you want to go do enduros and you want a taste of different series, this is the series.
Yeah.
They co-sanction with NEPG, so you get to run 3 nationals.
Yep.
They co-sanction with FTR, so you can run some Florida enduros, and they co-sanction with Sarah. I don't know Sarah. I'm not familiar with that one.
It's Alabama.
Okay. They only have one. They only have 2 rounds that they promote themselves. One in North Carolina and one in Tennessee. But there's 11 rounds. You can go run their series, and you could almost qualify for FTR and SADRA.
Yeah.
And I think you have to run 7 rounds. I think it's 7 rounds in the National Enduro Series to qualify as an amateur. Maybe it's 8. But there's only 9 rounds.
Yeah.
So you could go run some. I think their series, they got South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida. That actually is not a bad travel schedule.
No, it's all 8 hours and under.
Yeah, and you got September, the Alligator Enduro, which, by the way, is on a Thursday. I know there's been talk about that. It is on Thursday. So you got 2 in March, 1 in April, 1 in May. Then you have the whole summer off in SADRA. And you start back up in August, 2 in September, 3 in November, and 1's a national. So if you need to, you can skip the national and skip the Gobbler Gator and then go to Tennessee and McClenny. But I think their schedule is really cool. As just someone who likes the opportunity to go to different places, SADRA really nails that.
Yeah.
And it's like $35 to join. It's not even.
Yeah, it's not expensive.
Because you and I joined that one year. And then the last schedule I pulled up was Mideast, which if Mideast is posting their schedule, you can almost tell when there's going to be GNCCs.
Yeah.
Because this is, even though it's a local series, it's probably a regional series.
Yeah.
Because it basically mimics
GNCC. Yeah. So, everybody piggybacks off that.
Yeah. And a lot of South Carolina, North Carolina. So yeah, three series have announced schedules for next year. GNCC will be this weekend. We do have a Supercross at Tampa this year in February. I more than likely am gonna, if I can get my seats, I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I get the same seats every time, and I go sit and enjoy it. Hopefully by February, I'll have parts ready to go for you.
Hopefully before then.
Maybe before then, yeah. So, and then there's gonna be a lot of time out in the sand field getting back into riding.
Yeah, just about 5 minutes should be good to
go. But that's about it. Next race is Mondon Hill, one of FTR's golden races. I know it got beat by Punta Gorda the past couple of years, but it has been a mainstay on the schedule for years. So I've been there when it's 19 degrees, and I've been there when it's 75. So
been there when it's dry and dusty. Been there when it's been a mud hole.
Yeah. So you never know. Honestly, we don't know as dry as it is right now. They'll be able to go way out in that back part. Way out there.
Everything should be usable. There shouldn't be anything wet.
No. And it is one of the cool mixes of grass track, tight technical stuff, some hills. It's pretty. It's got some good stuff to it, and they've changed up the way they run it the past couple of years, so it's gotten a different flow to it. Anything on your end?
No.
Any more motocross tracks hitting up?
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Where are you going tomorrow?
Punta Gorda, Moto Bros.
Oh, okay, all right. How you have been hitting some of the local tracks? How do you 74 and Moto Bros? How are you feeling about them? How are they?
Moto Bros and Punta Gorda, it's identical to Dade City.
Okay.
Same, very similar dirt, the whole 9 yards. It's very rider friendly.
But you can stay and watch it in the bleachers.
Yeah, like
it's in an old racetrack.
Yeah. They're kind of like Dade City. They're very regimented. Like the day me and him went, he got 8 motos, and we were there from the time they opened, and we left it. Like 1 or whatever it was. He got eight motos. They do like 15 minutes or whatever it is. So they're very like just rotating
Yeah.
the whole. They don't dick around. The new 74. It's a I'm not sure the specifics. It's a family that bought it. They live there.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids ride, and then they do that. I don't know what else they do. It's not bad. I saw video from the other weekend, and it's like y'all need to dump some water on that shit. Like, it's the one thing I don't like about how they do their stuff is they don't really necessarily break everything up into groups.
Mm.
So you can end up with a hodgepodge of riders out there, and I don't really particularly care for that. On the adult side, it's fine, but when you start mixing kids in, it's like, and then they start allowing 4-wheelers when they open up. So you could have a 4-wheeler out there and a 65 beginner rider. They don't belong on the same track at the same time.
Yeah.
That I have a problem with that. That is a problem to me.
Have you tried their trails?
When the time we went down there, half of it was still underwater.
Oh.
So 4-wheelers, same thing. It's you can take something cool for a bike, you put a 4-wheeler in it, it screws it up, makes it unusable. That's basically how it is.
And he's not saying that to be mean. 4-wheelers can get much closer to trees than we can.
Yeah.
So we can't use the inside line, which means we have to use all the outside lines, which means when we go to a left to a right, we have to go from the outside line, jump across, and then get to the outside because we can't physically. It's not them. It's we can't get there.
Like, well, you have 2 ruts. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you can take something that is bike wide, and you put a 4-wheeler in it, and now it's a highway.
Yeah.
Well, it defeats the purpose. It's to me, it's one of them things. It's like you're either going to do one or the other. You do both, then you're going to cut out half of the other part of your clientele.
Very good. You're the one that's going to these local tracks. I've been to Motor Bros Punta Gorda to watch, and it was pretty cool. Just everything's right there.
Yeah,
like you can see everything.
Yeah,
it's almost like stadium motocross.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think on the motocross side, you have Winter Ams coming up, and they've posted their schedule, and it's pretty much 5 weeks. Boom, 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 and they're going Diamondback, Dade City, Gatorback, someplace else, and then they finish up in Motor Bros Okeechobee, I think. And so if you want to get some motocross stuff in while we're off, you can do that in January.
Yeah.
So, but yep, we go back Dade City, Mondon Hill, Brooksville, I guess, actually. And we will see everybody there. Thank you for your time, Jason. You go back to bed now. We wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And this has been episode 3 of season 2 of Beyond the Curve. The MX Pod goes off road. Jason and I will see you in January. Bye-bye.